Hi everyone and welcome to Crochet Tutorials. In this video we're going to have a look at the magic circle and how to make it, as well as the best way to sew that tail end in to make sure that your magic circle remains closed. So let's have a look at how it's done. Firstly, these are a couple of just samples that I prepared. They're both exactly the same beginning of a granny square. So the same stitch count, double crochet, 4 clusters of 3 double crochet with the chain 2 in the corners. They're exactly the same yarn. The only difference is that in this one I've used the magic circle and in this one I've used the chain 4 and slip stitch join to make that hole. So it is, you can see, just a tiny bit smaller, the one with the magic circle, and that's simply because that hole isn't there. It does look a little bit neater, and a lot of your blankets that are made in the round and beanies will actually require you to make a magic circle so you can close that hole. This is a particular example where I've used a magic circle in a granny square. It's just a flower motif granny square, and you can make it with the hole in the middle, but I've elected not to, simply because actually there are a few holes in this already and it just makes it just that little bit warmer for the blanket. Alright, so how do we make it? This is my yarn. I'm not going to blather on about what yarn I'm using and what hook I'm using. I'm using yarn and I'm using a hook. You'll obviously be using different yarn on any occasion, but the process remains the same for whatever yarn and hook combination you're using. You grab your yarn and take the tail end and put it across your palm like that, and then hang on to it, wrap it around the front of those 3 fingers, and then come up in the back and just go across and make that X at the front of your hand. And grab your hook and come in under this front strand and grab that rear piece which is attached to your working and turn to lift the hook up. So I'll show you that again. Grab the yarn, drag it out and just turn and lift the hook. And then you can come in and grab that working yarn again and pop it through. That makes a really secure magic circle. If I take my hook out, that magic circle does not go anywhere. However, that loop on that hook will now count as a chain 1. So obviously when you chain into your magic, or when you crochet into your magic circle, you will initially be required to chain up to the height of whatever stitch you're making. So if it's single crochet, you'll chain 1, or if it's double crochet, you'll chain 3, and if it's treble, you'll chain 4. So because this is already 1 and I'm going to be crocheting double crochets into this, I only need to chain 2 from there. The tail is really important. It is actually the most important part of your magic circle. So you need to make sure that that lays alongside your ring, and that when you crochet over it as well as the ring with every stitch. So don't try not to anyway. Well, actually absolutely don't get that tangled in any way in the body of your stitch. Oh, what's going on there? Okay, I need to shut this just a little bit. If it is difficult like that, it is really easy just to make your magic circle smaller. Crochet over them both, but don't get it tangled in here of your stitch, because if you do, your ring will not shut. Let me tell you that from experience. And all I'm going to do is crochet the 4 cluster to to do the granny circle start with the chain 2 in the middle, just so we can get to a position where it looks logical when we close it. And just 3 more. And 3. And then, of course, chain 2 at the end. Now we're in a position where we're going to shut this circle. So what I normally do is just hang on to these stitches here. Actually, I'll put that back through the other way. Hang on to these stitches here and pull on the tail. Don't you go anywhere. And pull on the tail. And you can see that it starts to cinch that hole shut. And you can actually pull on it quite firm. And even though when you feel like it's shut, if you pull on it a little bit more, it'll actually come through a little bit more. And that, I'm pulling on that quite hard, and it is not going to go anywhere. So that magic circle is completely shut. All right, so just then, you'd shut your work the way you'd shut your work. I don't think that's the terminology I was looking for. Slip stitch to close that round off the way you normally would. And what I'm going to do is just, you would probably continue with this colour, but I'm just going to tie that off so I can show you how to tie in this tail. A lot of people are concerned about the magic circle coming apart, and that's fair enough. No one wants their work to come apart. So how do you tie this off to ensure that it doesn't? And there is a way. Now, I'll just actually, before I zoom in on this so you can see these stitches. You can see here, where am I? You can see here where I've come out with the tail. All of these, the bottom end of these double crochets that come into where the hole was, they're these lovely straight lines. And you can see that that's where the tail comes out. If you go back in there, it can be a little bit dangerous because it can come loose again. So I tend to skip that particular piece and then go in under the following stitches and go around, scooch under those stitches and go around for 5 strands, 6 strands, come out, and you can see that I've grabbed that one there. Don't again go back in there, come in front of it and come out just before where we went in last time. And then again, you're coming in and going out just before where you went in last time. So if you go backwards and forwards with your tying the ends in or sewing the ends in, they are very unlikely to actually come loose again. But that magic circle you saw when I pulled on it earlier, it wasn't going anywhere. But that end being weaved away, obviously you needed to do it anyway because you don't want an end hanging off like that. And it is much more secure now. You can see that that is the same size as that one, but again, just a touch smaller than the other one. It is a really, really useful tool, as I said, with amigurumi, with anything that's made in the round, and for granny squares that are in blankets and you want that nice continuous non-hole middle. I will actually be doing a tutorial on this particular square in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that. I do thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.